talk a little bit about the game on Saturday night. I tell you, it was good being in Fayetteville on Saturday night. Great crowd. Really can't wait till we get this thing to where we're going to pack that stadium. I've been here when it's been packed on the other sideline, and certainly, we got to get this program back to that. And it was a good atmosphere. We didn't get done what we needed to get done, and there's a couple things that we can easily point to. And in the first half, I think we had two critical mistakes. One was we busted the coverage, and they're too good for us to give them anything, and they took advantage of it. And then two, we had a 14-play drive. It's 2nd and 17. We're going to put them in a 3rd and 15, 3rd down and 15, and we get a penalty. We've been good about that in terms of costly penalties, and that one cost us because it kept the drive alive. I think if and of course they could have scored anyway, but if we got a chance to play 3rd and 15, I like our odds a lot better than moving the chains and putting it at 1st down. Our players played hard. There's no question about that. Nobody played a perfect game. Our two safeties did what we needed for them to do. They kept the big runs off of us. They did a tremendous job in run support. That was critical for us to have a chance to win the game, and both our safeties did a really good job of that. With that said, I'll start to answer questions.
Raise your hand. We're going to like this. Chief, just maybe an overview of what you see from their offense, a lot more than just Nick Fitzgerald, but what role he plays and everyone else.
Well, it starts there, they've got good talent. They got 5 starters back in the offensive line, tight ends back, got a slot receiver back, got another receiver back, but I think 9 starters back on their offense from a very talented offense, and that's what they are. But it all starts with the you know what, I brought the wrong deal down here. I'm sorry. I don't know how many starters they got.
What about Fitzgerald?
Fitzgerald, there's no question about it. We've played against him. He's a quality quarterback. Big time runner. He's their leading rusher. There's no question about that. And he makes that offense go. And they've always had good backs. They got two tailbacks that can run the ball. They're very similar. One of them's a little bigger, but they do a good job. And like I said, a big physical offensive line. And what they do with some of the motions and some of the formations, and it's hard to break it down and tell. On some of the zone read, the power read scheme, and when he's keeping it exactly who he's reading, so that makes it more difficult for us to try to give them some false keys. But it's a really exciting offense to watch if you don't have to play against them. But we certainly going to work hard to be ready, and hopefully we will show up and play and look forward to it. But it starts with the quarterback.
Chief, do you know Joe Moorhead at all? What do you think of him as an offensive mind? And
obviously, they've put together a scheme that and they've gone through some trials and moved things around and readjusted and done those things. But obviously, he's done a tremendous job. I've never played against him. I've never coached against him. Obviously did a great job at Penn State, and now he's doing a great job at Mississippi State. And again, Mississippi State's always been a physical football team, and they hadn't lost any of that physicality. And and they're doing what they do best, and that's running the football and taking advantage of throwing the ball down the field.
You're probably one of the few guys on the staff, maybe you and Steve, that have experienced the cowbell. Just what's it like going there and having those cowbells ringing in your ear all night?
It's cowbells, and I mean it's a great tradition. It's a great environment, and that's what you look for. When you start talking about SEC vineyards, they're all good and they're all unique in their own way, and certainly they're unique from that standpoint. And they got great fan support, and they make it tough on these teams when they come in there. Now, the thing about coaching defense is when we're on the field, the cowbells won't be going. It's and I've often said this, it's easier to communicate on the road because, the home crowd's not going to be making a lot of noise when the defense is on the field.
I haven't gotten to watch a lot of the Alabama-Mississippi State game, but what did Alabama do that kept them from getting scoring the other day?
Well, Alabama did what they do. Obviously they do a great job of coaching. There's no question about that. But those guys they have up front, make a big difference. And those guys played well for them. It's to get 2 shutouts back to back in the SEC is incredible, and that's what they did. So somebody needs to score some points on them.
The way you've talked here the last couple of weeks, you have an option in your contract that you can exercise in December. Have you told Chad you're planning to do that, or kind of what's the story there?
Yeah, I haven't told Chad that, but he and I will have a talk. But and I'm not going to make an announcement, but I'm at Arkansas, and I think that's enough said. And plan on being here a while.
I guess with the scheme, LSU had Hayden Henry played quite a bit. Just how you feel he did?
Well, he did well. There was a couple plays that he got, a little bit lost, and didn't fit a couple of things right. But other than that, he played super and played a lot of football for us. And I was glad to see him get that opportunity. And certainly. We look for him to be a player in the future that's going to play multiple roles, and we're not ready to go there yet. But certainly, a very talented young man. I've been impressed with him, and it was good to see him get that time on the field.
Does that same position play more against Mississippi State as well, or is that a different scheme?
No, Mississippi State's going to be 11 personnel. 99.9% of the time, which means that open sets, and we'll be in a lot more nickel this week than we were last week.
We can see Dre's obviously not anywhere near full speed, but he's still out there playing hard, making plays for you. Just what do you thought about his play when he's clearly is dealing with a bad
well,
ankle?
you have to go, and this was a game that he said, "Hey, coach, I'm not coming out. I'm going to play regardless." And he sucked it up, and that's what you got to do. And the whole deal. And I don't make those decisions, but you're playing with pain, but there's not a chance that you're going to do anything else. So to play this game, and he's not the only one out there. There's a lot of guys out there that are playing in pain. Their bodies don't feel the same way they did 4 months ago. When you're going through what, any football team, when you're going through what these guys have gone through, sometimes it's hard to get out of the bed early in the morning. And it's been a long time, I promise you that, but I can remember, trying to ease out of the bed and see if I could get my feet, on the floor. And, that's one of the sacrifices that that you pay when you're playing football. Now, we would not ever put a guy out there that has an opportunity to increase an injury or anything like that, but certainly, you play the game, you play it with pain, and that's the toughness that you have to have, and I certainly appreciate that from Dre.
What makes and has made Fitzgerald so dynamic in the running game and his ability to pass the ball as well?
Well, obviously his ability to run, and I think he has, tremendous speed, and from set go, he may not be the quickest guy for the first 3 steps, but after that, shoot, he's as fast as anybody. I've seen him run away from a lot of good defenses and a lot of defensive backs that could not, catch him. So obviously he has excellent speed. He's a tough guy. He's physical. He doesn't mind the contact, and he plays the game that way. He's, you'd love to have him. I'd take him, make him a defensive end. I think he'd be a great pass rusher. But he's a tough guy that can run well, has very good speed. And obviously, I think being able to throw the football, I think that speaks for itself. He can spin it. There's no question about that.
The word's got to be out on Armand Watts, and yet he's had another sack. Is he playing at the point where NFL scouts are going to give him a good look?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think he's earned that attention, and he's got the body, the body that they're looking for, and certainly, we're pleased with what he's done for us here, and obviously, I know he'll finish this season out strong, and I think, I think there'll be, more football ahead for him, no question. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.